Hey, VR Tidwell 55 here. I kind of promised myself I wouldn't do this anymore, but what the heck, I'm going to jump into the fray here. Been seeing a lot of traffic going back and forth here on YouTube between the Apple fanboys and the Windows fanboys based on, well, you got the Windows guys saying, well, Snow Leopard's just a service pack to Leopard. And then you got the Apple fanboys coming back and saying, well, Windows 7's just a service pack to Vista. Now, I can't answer, and I won't answer, and I won't comment on the Snow Leopard being a service pack, just a service pack to Leopard. Okay, I will comment on it. I can't say for sure. I only know what I read on the web and what I see on YouTube, and based on what knowledgeable people who I happen to trust say, that's a load of bull. It is a different operating system. And based on what I read, you know, the move from 32-bit to 64-bit makes it a different operating system. And, you know, it doesn't matter what you see in the GUI. It's what's under the hood that counts. And by that same token, the same can be said for Windows 7. Now, is Windows 7 the operating system that Vista should have been? Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I'll tell you right now, from a resource usage standpoint, from a hardware requirement standpoint, from everything else, Windows 7 is a different operating system than Windows Vista. Right now, this moment, I'm running Windows 7 on a machine that has 2.2 gigahertz Pentium dual-core processor, 2 gigs RAM, 2 gigs RAM. And I will demonstrate here in a second. I'll do a screen capture here, and I've done screen captures with this machine before, but I have full-blown arrow effects, everything else. And I was able to do this with an onboard graphics card I've recently upgraded. I've got a discrete graphics card now. But here's the thing, 2 gigs of RAM. 2 gigs of RAM was the bare minimum. I don't care what Microsoft said. 2 gigs of RAM was the bare minimum to run Windows Vista. And I'm telling you right now, this computer flies running Windows 7 with only 2 gigs of RAM. Haven't had an issue. Haven't had anything freeze up. Haven't had a blue screen. Haven't had anything else. So that tells me right there and then that Windows 7 is different and better than Vista. And we're talking more than just a service pack. So anyway, just let me go to the screen capture, and hopefully you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, first thing I want to show you, first thing I want to kind of highlight is right now, while I am running a screen capture, full screen capture, I'm using, okay, almost 40% of my RAM. That's 2 gigahertz. We're only using about 40% of the dual-core CPU. All right, this is pretty decent resource management. Okay, let me. All right. I've shown you some of this stuff, and if you're familiar with Windows 7, some changes to the GUI, some neat things. For one thing, the mouse gesturing. This is a fully a full screen window. I just pull on the grab the window bar, pull it down. It resizes it. Throw it over to the left-hand side of the screen. Takes up the left-hand side of the screen. Now I've got dual screens going, so that's not quite going to work. Up to the top. Check it out. We're maximized again. Okay. Changes to the taskbar. Okay. This receives some criticism because, well, you're just copying the dock. Well, maybe so, but hey, even I'll admit that, you know, the OS X dock is a good idea, and I'm kind of glad to see the I'm glad to see the Windows taskbar and it gets some of those properties. Makes it more usable. All right. Changes to the start menu, or the menu, whatever you want to call it. The old Windows Classic start menu. Now this could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, could just be a thing, but you don't have it anymore. All right. This is the start menu. All right. Gives you pretty easy access to all of your programs. Network and Sharing Center, a little bit easier for home users. I don't have another computer on the network right now, but that would show up. And again, you know, these are superficial things, these are eye candy things, but there again, they are things that are, at least from the GUI perspective, a little different from Windows Vista. And I'm telling you, anybody who would try to throw Vista Ultimate on a machine with only, and well, I'll tell you what, I'll just pull up the specs right here. Should come up. Yeah, 2 gigs of RAM. That's all I got. 2 gigs of RAM. Anybody who would try to throw throw Vista Ultimate on a machine with 2 gigs of RAM, I'd tell you you're smoking crack. It ain't gonna run, and it's not gonna run this well, especially doing something as intensive as a full screen capture. So, in any case, there's my argument. Windows 7 is it revolutionary? Absolutely no. Is it a needed upgrade from Windows Vista? Abso-freaking-lutely. Is it just a service pack for Vista? No. No. It's more than a mere service pack. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching, everybody.